In this video, we'll be covering how to catch bass using soft plastic jelly lures. We'll first quickly show you what soft plastics are. We'll then cover the ideal conditions and situations they are best suited for. We'll discuss some top methods to use when using soft plastics. We'll also show you the best tackle setups for using these types of lure, as well as some advice for choosing the best lure on the day. So let's quickly look at what soft plastics are. Soft plastics can actually offer much more of a subtle, realistic movement than other types of lure, as well as other benefits. For any beginners out there, many of these types of lure are often attached by using jig heads, which are a hook complete with a weighted head for casting. Many are designed to thread onto the hook directly using any point on the head as an entry. Others include small holes and channels that are designed to let the hook pass through to cause minimal damage. These types can also often include a small cavity at the top of the lure to bury the hook point along the spine of the lure. This makes it weedless for avoiding snags. They come in all shapes and sizes, such as these sand eel imitation lures. The narrow round fish style lures that you see on the previous slide are known as minnow-shaped lures. And there are deeper bodied variants of these known as shads. Another popular soft plastic lure shape is the jelly worm, which can be highly effective. Soft plastics can come in pretty much every form imaginable, from squid to crab and even lobster-shaped lures. Other than your standard jig head attached lures, you also have what are known as line-through lures. These lures don't use jig heads and instead are usually attached to the leader at the head, with the hooks being separately attached to either the back, underside, or flanks of the lure. Some come with hooks pre-attached, others can be added manually. Unlike the jig head style soft plastics, these type are often evenly weighted. This can give them a more realistic movement, and can also, in theory, prevent bass and other fish from using the counterweight of the jig head to throw the hook as they thrash their head around in the surf. So what conditions and situations best suit soft plastics? Though they can actually be worth a try in different situations, there are certain times that they will be that much more suitable to use. They are pretty much the go-to lure for fishing heavily snaggy ground. This includes heavily rocky and weedy ground, which can also be some of the best bass ground you can fish over. Aside from the fact soft plastics tend to be cheaper and more expendable than hard lures, they can also be rigged using weedless techniques to cut down on tackle losses, which we'll be discussing more in a moment. Unlike other types of lure, soft plastics can be fished using a wide range of weight, making them highly versatile. Adding weight can allow you to fish at longer distances. This extra weight can also allow you to fish lures deeper. Adding weight can be done in rough surf conditions. The bass will be feeding further out than usual, and the onshore side winds that you need to cast through will be cut through easier using added weight. Another example you'd use extra weight for would be when fishing water that's carrying some color. In these conditions, bass may be feeding harder on the bottom as they can't use the light to hunt visually through the water. The same would apply when you need to get the lure sitting lower for fishing deeper rock marks and steep to beaches. You can fish less weight, or even go weightless to give the lure a slow sinking effect. This allows you to fish the top level of water and can be ideal when fishing in lower light levels, such as around dawn and dusk, or even into the hours of darkness. It's in these conditions bass will sit on the bottom looking up for any silhouettes cast above, and will ambush prey from below using the remaining light. So which methods would we apply when using soft plastics? Using a steady retrieve ensures your lure is covering water whilst giving plenty of time for a bass to spot any movement and home in. Varying your rate of retrieve, as with any lure type, can be effective. Increasing retrieve speed fishes the lure higher in the water, as does holding the rod tip higher. Slowing the retrieve or holding the rod tip lower fishes the lure to a deeper level. Allowing the lure to sink before retrieving will also ensure the lure works deep from the start of the retrieve. If you retrieve immediately after your lure hits the water, this will fish the lure nearer to the surface. Soft plastic lures with thinner tails, such as the two pintail lures at the top of this picture, are designed to be used with plenty of rod tip movements to mimic the natural darting movements of bait fish in the water. This is due to the smaller tails providing less resistance, which also can make them more effective to cast. Soft plastics with larger tails such as the bottom two pictured here give more sensory attraction in the water through the disturbance they make. The larger the tail, the greater the disturbance. This does, however, make them slightly less effective to cast. So what would an ideal tackle setup be for using soft plastics? A light to medium style spinning rod that casts between 12 to 46 grams will suit rough ground scenarios. You should always match the rod casting weight to the lures and any added weight you intend to use. The reel should be a fixed spool of sensible size to match the rod, around a 3000 size, though if fishing a deeper mark you could consider slightly bigger. For mainline use, either 12 pounds mono or braid can be used between 15 to 20 pounds breaking strain. A fluorocarbon casting leader should also be used to add stealth and act as a rubbing leader. For fishing your lures directly on rough ground, this should ideally be a minimum of 20 pounds breaking strain, or even as high as 30 pounds breaking strain. So how do you go about choosing a sensible lure on the day? Darker coloured lures can cast a better silhouette in low light conditions, such as at dawn and dusk. Light reflective lures, such as white or silver coloured lures, can be effective in bright, clear, sunny conditions. If fishing water with some colour, consider using a brightly coloured lure, such as the luminous green, yellow or bright red colours. Don't forget, with certain soft plastic lures they contain cavities where rattle chambers can be added to give good audio attraction. If you'd like to know how to fish for bass using shallow diving hard plugs, or target them using surface lures, check out the links showing here. There's also a video link provided that covers how to target bass using sinking or suspending style hard plugs. Don't forget to subscribe to stay notified, and feel free to check out the channel page, where you can browse through many tutorials related to sea fishing. See you again soon.